everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for tuning in today. Happy Saturday. We have Alex here. Hey, Alex, glad you could make the stream. Ethan is still feeling sick. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you start feeling better soon. Hey, Kane, glad you could join us again. Hey, Chocolate Ice. Welcome to the stream. And thank you for moderating, as always. Alex says, last night after your live stream, I thought of a hypothetical scenario for Scream 7, which I want to tell you about, and I will have to outline it in 2 comments. Okay, well, share it with us in the chat, and I will look out for it. Hey, Dylan. Welcome to the live stream. Hey, Oliver. Hey, Mark. Hey, Zork. Glad you can make this one. Thank you for moderating, as always. We have Ryan here. Thanks for joining. Thank you to all of my moderators. I appreciate all of you. You do a great job. Alex says, if Schumacher is going to return, what if Sidney will realize that things about his alleged death did not make sense? Initially, these things had gone over her head, and learning that Stu is alive will cause her to think of these things. Plus, she will be angry at herself for failing to realize them initially. I mean, I'm with you. I hope that Stu comes back, and obviously I hope that Sidney plays a big role in that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, obviously she faced off with Stu in the first one. And, you know, I think he's been alive this whole time. So I do wonder how she will react to that. Like finding out that he's been alive this whole time and she didn't realize that he was alive. I'm very excited to see how they choose to play out this scenario. Hey, Patricia. You go by Trish. You're Scott's fiance. Which Scott are we talking about? Are we talking about Scott Walker, who appears here in the chat frequently? But I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you are as well. Thanks, Chocolate Ice. Hey, Ray. Glad you could make it. Happy Saturday, everyone. I hope you're having a good weekend. Okay, Scott Walker is your fiance. Nice. Well, welcome to the stream. Glad you could join us. We're just hanging out, talking Scream theories, and some other horror. If you guys want to get into some other horror as well, we can pretty much talk about anything here. The Mad Nucleus says, I believe the person in the Ghostface costume in the bathroom scene in the first movie was either Roman or Christina. Interesting. I do know that this is a pretty popular theory. I have asked you guys before, like, do you think that the bathroom Ghostface was like a real ghost face or just a prank. A lot of people think that it was just a prank. But in my opinion, it seems a little too aggressive. In my opinion. So I don't know. If it is Roman or Christina, it's definitely something that is retconned. Like that was not their initial intention when they made the movie. Hey, Kane. Trish says someone blocked Scott on your stream. Can you fix that? I don't know how to fix that. I can try. If any of my moderators here right now know how to fix that, can you do so? Unblock Scott Walker, if that's an option. If I'm being honest, I don't know how to like work these things on YouTube. I don't think I was the one who blocked him. So if any of my moderators here know how to do that, please do. But I might have to look into it after the stream, because when I'm streaming on my laptop right now, like I am, it's difficult for me to open another tab because it slows down the stream. So I can't really open another tab. I can try, but it might slow things down. So just bear with me for a moment, because I'm going to try to do that right now. I apologize, Trish. I don't know what happened with that. So just bear with me for one moment, please. Okay, Trish, I actually think I fixed the problem. So have Scott try to come into the chat. I believe I removed him from blocked. So tell him to give it a try. Kane says, if Stu returns in 7, takes off Ghostface mask. Surprise, Sid. Bet you thought you'd never see this face again. I would love that. I want some kind of a reveal like that for Stu, for sure. Hey, Pyro. Sorry you can't hang out with us, but thanks for popping in and saying hello. Who in the Scream franchise has the best hairstyle? I'm gonna have to go with Billy. Billy has the best hair in the Scream franchise. Should they introduce Randy's fling, Karen Kolchak, in Scream 7? That would be interesting for sure. I know there's a theory out there, like, what if Randy has a kid with Karen Kolchak? Because they did sleep together. So that would be interesting. I mean, I would love to see Randy again. Don't know if that's possible, but imagine if his kid is involved in the story and we get introduced to Karen Kolchak. Trish says, Scott told me to tell you that there is a new killer kangaroo movie coming out called The Red. Check it out when you get a chance. Interesting. Okay, I see Scott is back. Welcome back, Scott. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. I don't know what happened there with you. I apologize. I am not the one who blocked you, but welcome back. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I wonder who would play Karen Kolchak. For some reason, I've always pictured her as a blonde. You know, she could have any color hair, but I've just always pictured her as a blonde. So I wonder who would play her. Yeah, Billy definitely has the best hair in the franchise, in my opinion. Kane says, let me just say that John Milton from Scream 3 is the evilest Scream villain since Ghostface are murderers. But he is, you know, what he did to Maureen. Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that John Milton kind of deserved what he got because of what he let happen to Maureen back in the day. For sure. Ethan says, in Scream 5 opening scene, when Tara gets attacked after she shuts the door on Ghostface, the ghost face comes from behind and stabs her in the chest, just like what Mickey did to Hallie. And if Stu is on the phone, then how can he make the attack? The ghost face isn't holding a phone, so I think Mickey attacked Tara. Well, so I do think that Stu was the one on the phone with Tara for sure. So I agree with you in the sense that I don't necessarily think Stu would have been able to attack Tara while also being on the phone. I don't really think it was Mickey who attacked Tara. I know, Ethan, you're a huge fan of Mickey being alive. I personally am not, but I agree with you. I think Stu was on the phone, but I think it was either Richie or Amber who attacked Tara, while Stu was on the phone. I do have several videos about this on my channel, about Stu being on the phone. So if anyone here has not seen those, please go check it out. You can find them in my Stu MACHER playlist or my Scream Theory playlist. The Mad Nucleus says, from what I read, she's a social outcast and a goth chick, and was apparently the sweetest girl you'll ever meet. I assume you're talking about Karen Kolchak. Interesting. I have not read anything about her. Who had the best Halloween costume in Scream 6? Interesting question. Do you mean out of the main cast or like out of everyone that we see on the subway? Let's see. Out of the main cast, I don't know. None of their costumes really stood out to me. Tara was kind of like a pirate, right? Ethan, I don't really know what his costume was, but I've heard that it's from like a video game of some sort. Chad, I don't know what his costume was. He was wearing some kind of a hat, but he was shirtless. But then later on, he put on his Woodsboro High jacket. So I really don't know what his costume was. I don't know. This is a tough question. What do you guys think was the best costume in Scream 6? Ethan, you're not annoying. You're fine. I know you're a big Mickey believer, which is totally fine. I have no problem with that. Kane says, what if they did the cult thing? Stu, Mickey, Jill, Charlie, and the parents of both Jason and Greg. Random as hell, but it sounds cool and sinister. But Jill kills Charlie again. I mean, you guys know I want to see the cult happen. I want Stu to be leading the cult. I would love to see Jill come back again, part of the cult. I also would love Charlie to return, but I just don't know if they're going to do that. I've said before, like, I feel like the creators know that people already have a hard enough time wrapping their heads around Stu coming back. So to also bring back another past Ghostface might be a little too much in their opinion. I would love to see it. I would love to see Jill come back working with Stu, but I just don't know if they're going to do that. I guess we'll see. I would love for them to like hit us with Stu and then it doesn't stop there, you know? Then they bring back Jill also. But I just don't know if that's going to happen. Give me 1 second, guys. I have to turn off my AC because it's very cold in this room right now, but I will be right back. Okay. Let's see. No worries, Scott. Welcome back to the stream. Sorry for the confusion. I am also going to set up my phone right now to go live on TikTok at the same time. So just 1 second. Okay, and we're back. Ethan says, for Scream 7, my prediction is Mickey and Stu work together, and Jill and Ethan also work together, and Stu and Mickey go to attack Sydney while Jill and Ethan attack Gail. I mean, like I said, Stu's my number one. I want him back. I also would love for Jill to come back. I just don't see Mickey coming back. And I definitely don't see Ethan coming back. He's just, you guys know, he's one of my least favorite ghost faces. So I just don't want to see Ethan return. The Mad Nucleus says if they brought Kirby back due to being a fan favorite, they definitely can bring back Jennifer Jolie because her death felt way more off than Kirby's. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people who want Jennifer Jolie to come back. I'm a big fan of hers. I would love to see her come back. And I have talked about this theory a little bit on my channel. How she could possibly be alive because she really was only stabbed like one time by Ghostface. And also like when Dewey is shooting at the mirrors, people assume that he shot her, but he was, if you pay attention, he was shooting at the top of the mirrors. So I don't think that Dewey actually shot Jennifer. Ethan says also, why does Stu care about Tara? I thought he would care about Sydney because of what she did to Stu in the original. So I know this is going to sound crazy, but I do have theories on my channel that Tara is possibly Stu's daughter. I know it sounds crazy, especially if you have not seen my theory videos on this. And I feel like this would not happen now that it's confirmed that Tara is not going to be in Scream 7. But I'm not going to get into too much detail about it right now on the live stream. But, we have Sam, who is Billy's daughter, and because their mom, Christina, slept with Billy. And I have all these theories about Christina Carpenter. Like, I do think Christina is a shady character. I think there's more to her than we know. And Christina has a thing for serial killers. She was in love with Billy. So I do think I have a theory that Christina has been working with Stu this whole time and kind of helping Stu stay in hiding. I do think that Christina kind of knew what Billy and Stu were up to back in the day. And she likes that dark side. So once Billy was killed, I think she kind of gravitated towards Stu and possibly slept with Stu a couple years later to have Tara. So I do have a theory on my channel that Tara could be Stu's daughter. So we have a super chat from Alvaro. Thank you so much, Alvaro. You said, here's a theory. In the stab scene with Tori Spelling, how would the writers get the same dialogue without being there unless Stu told them? I'm glad you brought this up, Alvaro. Yeah, this is a big part of my Stu theories. There are several different scenes where I agree with you. The writers of Stab would not know certain things unless Stu possibly gave them some input. Another example is in Richie's fan films that we see in Scream 6. There's certain dialogue that people would only know if someone who was there shared it with them. So I I could go into so much detail, but I would be talking about this forever. Yeah, I think certain scenes only Stu was there for. And anyone else who was involved in those scenes is dead and no longer with us. Like, Billy is confirmed dead. He was shot in the head. But Stu, someone who was there for those scenes, would know how the dialogue went. Another little example of this is like with the drawings in the shrine in Scream 6. Like Principal Himbry's drawing, the sketches that are in Scream 6 in the shrine. Richie would not know what Principal Himbry's death scene looked like. Because we have to remember, Principal Himbry's body was moved. He was initially killed in his office, but then they moved his body to string him up on the goalpost. So, and if you notice in the Scream 6 shrine with Principal Himbry's sketch, he's shown laying dead on the floor of his office. There would not be crime scene evidence like in photos of this because his body was moved. The police would not have photo evidence of Himbry dead on the floor. Only someone who was there would know what that looked like. And Stu is the only one. So I don't know. I'm with you, Alvaro, on this. I hope that we get some kind of an explanation on this in Scream 7. But thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us in the stream. Just 1 second, you guys. I'm sorry. I will be right back. I had to turn my AC back on because it's so hot today, but I go back and forth between being too cold in this room and then being too hot. Jason says, would you like to see Joel the cameraman return? If so, as a Ghostface comic relief character, victim, or survivor for Scream 8. Love the channel. Thank you so much, Jason. I absolutely would love to see Joel return. I think just as comic relief, like as I want to see him be how he was in Scream 2. I don't want to see him be a Ghostface. I would hate to see him die. So I definitely would love to see him survive yet again. But also be like the comic relief in Scream 7, hopefully. Because I do think that Scream 7 is going to be Gail's last movie, unfortunately. And if Scream 7 is going to be her last movie, I want to see her interact with Joel for one last time. He was supposed to return in Scream 6. We found out pretty recently that in the original script for Scream 6, he was supposed to return. This was back when like Sydney was still going to be in the story. But then I guess once Neve Campbell announced that she wouldn't be returning, they kind of changed the script. So yeah, I would love to see Joel return. Scott says, I think it was Mrs. Loomis that killed Hallie. If you look very closely at the Ghostface mask, you can see the eyes. It looks like a woman underneath the mask. I mean, I definitely think there's no doubt that this was Mickey in this scene, honestly. Because Nancy was back at the school interacting with Gail, and Mickey also, in the final act, in the reveal, he has like this gash on his forehead, and that is from crashing the cop car. So I do think this is one of the rare cases in the franchise where we kind of can confirm who the Ghostface was, and I do think that this was Mickey rather than Nancy. Hey Eunice, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for tuning in. I am well. I hope you are as well. How interesting will it be if they had a red Ghostface robe? I wonder if they're ever going to change up the costume. I don't know. There is a rumor that Scream 7 is going to take place during Christmas time. And if it does, I don't know, maybe Ghostface will kind of take on a Santa costume and wear a red Ghostface, a robe. It would be cool to see them kind of change up the look of Ghostface. Hey Tyler, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining. Hey Marvel. Tyler says, I heard somewhere that Martha Meeks might actually be the opening kill for Scream 7. I mean, it definitely would be an interesting opening kill. I have theorized on my channel before that she might be. Because so we know that these new movies are mirroring the original movies, and so we can kind of assume that Scream 7 is going to mirror Scream 3 in a lot of ways. And with Scream 3's opening scene, we had Cotton Weary, who was the first returning character to be an opening kill. So a part of me thinks that Scream 7's opening kill is going to be a returning character. So Martha Meeks is definitely an option. There's a couple other options that could be the case for Scream 7. Maybe Danny Brackett, maybe one of the twins. I don't know. There's a few options that we could have for the Scream 7 opening kill. Maybe Mark Kincaid. Scott says, what are the chances Stu was in Scream 4 when the cops chase another ghost face, like Jill in her room and Charlie was in Olivia's closet? So I think the other one was Stu. I definitely think there's a chance that Stu was in Scream 4. I always bring up Nerdbox on these streams because Nerdbox has a theory that Stu was present in all of the sequels. Which I am a fan of this theory. But I don't know, maybe he was. Maybe he was one of the ghost faces that the cops chase after. Ray says, I think Tara's Halloween costume was the best. Pirate is such a classic. And yeah, Chad was a shirtless cowboy, Woodsboro alumni. Yeah, I really don't know what Chad's costume was. It was very random. Eunice says, do you like fan-made Scream movies? If you do, which was your favorite among the ones you watched so far? So I honestly have not seen that many. I honestly think I've only seen one. And I think it was called Scream Legacy or something like that, where the main character was Sydney's daughter. It was pretty good, but I definitely need to see some other ones. There's not many that I have seen. So if you guys have any recommendations for Scream fan films, definitely let me know in the chat. Tyler says Scream 7 or 8 should have the killer be someone who is somewhere in Kincaid's unit or has knowledge of the killer, just not working with the killer. Interesting. I do know that is a popular theory. Some people think that the ghost face in Scream 7 should be someone who Kincaid kind of has a history with. Maybe someone that he locked up. I mean, you guys know that I want the killer to be Stu leading a cult. Scott says someone over here in Australia made a fan-made movie of Scream filmed here in Melbourne. It's called The Woodsboro Slasher. Check it out. I'll have to check it out. There's a lot of fan films out there that I should be watching for sure, especially in this time where we're waiting for Scream 7 to come out. Do you think Sydney and Mark have dogs for security? Not many dogs in the franchise. Possibly. I mean, Sydney had a dog in Scream 3. So, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I think at this point, Sydney would want to have as much security as she possibly can. So, it wouldn't hurt to have dogs for security. Marvel says it would have been interesting to see Stu in Scream 5 and 6, but as no one in the shadows, we would see after a few hours of viewing. I would have loved if Stu was involved in 5 and 6. Obviously didn't happen, but I do think that there are plenty of Stu clues in 5 and 6. So I do think when it comes time for Scream 7, we are going to find out that Stu is kind of in the shadows of 5 and 6 for sure. I mean, I do think that he was the cult leader, leading Amber and Richie. Scott says the sequel to Five Nights at Freddy's has been delayed. So what does that mean for Matthew Lillard? So I do think that this is a good sign for Matthew Lillard joining Scream 7, because Scream 7 was originally supposed to film in September. But we know that Five Nights at Freddy's is also filming in the fall. So I have a good feeling about this. I think that the reason that Scream 7 has been pushed back is to accommodate Matthew Lillard's scheduling. Tyler says, how cool would it be to see Gail and Kirby in their own spin-off where someone from the past comes back to get revenge, but also to draw Sydney out of hiding? I would love for some kind of a spin-off with Kirby for sure. I do think that Gail is unfortunately going to die in Scream 7, so I don't know how much room there is for a spinoff for Gail. But Kirby, there's definitely a lot of possibilities. We have a super chat from Cryptic Coil. You said, I think that in Scream 7, they at least need to explain Sam and Tara's absence. They should say Kirby and or Mark put them in witness protection. That's an interesting theory. I do wonder how they're going to explain Sam and Tara's absence. I do feel like it's going to be like a quick line of dialogue, kind of like how they addressed Sydney's absence in Scream 6. They really just said for Sydney, like, she took her family somewhere safe. So I do feel like it's going to be a quick line in passing for Santa. But that's a good theory. Kirby and Mark putting them in witness protection. I hadn't thought of that. Thank you so much for your super chat, Cryptic Coil. I realize that my camera is not working right now. I apologize, you guys. I don't know what the issue is. This has happened before where my camera wasn't working and I had to restart my laptop to get it to work, but I don't want to end the stream, so I don't want to restart my laptop right now. So hopefully my camera just kind of fixes itself. I apologize. Ray says, how would you feel if Detective Wallace, Kincaid's partner from Scream 3, is the opening kill? I wouldn't be mad at it. I definitely would love to see him return. He was a fun character, and he didn't have that much screen time in Scream 3. So I wouldn't be opposed to him being the opening kill. Kane says, I recommend the horror thriller Funny Games from 2007. It's a remake, but just as good as the original. I've never heard of this movie. I'll have to check it out. Mad Nucleus says Tatum was a good and bad friend to Sydney at the same time because she knew her mom was sleeping around town and didn't somehow alert her to it. That's actually a good point. I've always said that Tatum is a great friend to Sydney, which I still believe, but that's a good point. When Tatum and Sydney are talking about her mom, Tatum seems to know that Maureen has been sleeping around and didn't previously let Sydney know. Marvel says there is a fan-made movie of Ghostface versus Jeff the Killer. I actually think I know what you're talking about. I think I heard about it. I don't think I actually watched it, but I'll have to check it out. Tyler says the killer could be someone that Kincaid locked up or someone related to him that is jealous of him and Sydney being together. Interesting. Yeah, I do know that it's a popular theory that the ghost face in Scream 7 should be someone that Kincaid locked up. I mean, like I've said a million times, you guys know I think that Stu should be the main ghost face in Scream 7. But maybe someone that Kincaid locked up is a part of the cult. That would be pretty crazy. Scott says, do you think Nev Campbell knows Matthew is in Scream 7? Or do you think she's going to be quiet about it and not tell the fans at the next convention? I definitely think they're going to keep it under wraps. For sure. If he's going to return, I do think that at this point she knows about it. But I really don't think that she's going to reveal it to the audience because I do think that this is going to be one of the biggest plot twists ever. So I would hope that they're going to keep it a secret for sure. Tyler says they should do a flashback where we see Billy and Stu get pulled over by the cops, with one of the cops being Detective Bailey after they killed Casey Becker. That's interesting. I never thought of that. So the thing with Detective Bailey is I really don't know if he's a real cop. We have confirmation from the creators like Radio Silence. They confirmed that Richie's family, like, their last name is not real. Kirsch is not real. Bailey isn't real. And same goes for Landry. They confirmed that all three of those names are fake. And they also admitted that this poses a problem with him joining the police department. How could Bailey join the police force with a fake last name? So that also poses the question, like, is he actually a police officer? I don't know. But if he is, it would be cool to see a flashback of him pulling over Billy and Stu. I do like when things kind of go back to the original and have some kind of a connection to the past. So that would definitely be interesting to see. Eunice says, if Stu comes back, do you think there will be a lot of reaction from those in the audience who are against it? If it's a difficult decision, wouldn't it be better not to mess with it at all? I do think that the people who are against it will be pretty loud with their reactions. But from what I've seen on the internet, there are far more people who are for Stu returning rather than not. You know, I've been expressing my opinion with Stu being alive for almost 2 years now, and from what I've seen, far more people want him back than people who don't. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. It's a risk that the creators are going to have to take. Marvel says, have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine? I have not, but I definitely want to. I am a fan of both Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm not huge into like the whole superhero thing, but I have seen both Deadpool movies, which I loved. And I do remember seeing X Wolverine Origins in theaters. And I was a big fan of that movie, and it kind of got me into the X-Men movies. I have not seen all of the X-Men movies, but I am a big fan of Wolverine. So I definitely want to see Deadpool and Wolverine. So I do think I'm going to end the stream here just because my camera's not working, which is very frustrating. We have been going for an hour, which is amazing. But yeah, I do think I'm going to end the stream. I apologize. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Hopefully I can fix it before the stream. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate all you guys in the chat for all of your questions and comments. and especially the super chats. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you guys soon.